become irresistible that Michael Carrick has to become a really strong part of this conversation about United's future?
I think if United win every game from now till the end of the season, I still wouldn't be giving him the job.
Why?
I just think they need something, a bigger, more experienced manager. Simple as that. Carrick could win every game. Timing coming into the job was fantastic for him. And he said he's enjoying it. You enjoy management when you're winning football matches, of course. But I think the size of the club and the challenges they face over the next few years, because really, I know I've heard Jamie Carragher mentioned the last few weeks, you want a manager you feel will come in and get Man United winning league titles. Are we all going to sit here and believe Michael Carrick can get United winning league titles?
Well, we've only got evidence of the last 2 weeks.
I know, but that's still not enough for me. If you think on the back of 2 wins he warrants the job, then that's your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. I don't believe he's the man.
Manchester United fans, this is not just 2 wins anymore, this is now 6 wins. So now what? Where are the voices? Where are the interviews? Where are the people who were shouting manager bounce after 2 games? Where are the ones calling it a short-term spark, a 2-match illusion? Because right now, the table does not lie. We are not just chasing top 4 or top 5, we are sitting 3rd in the Premier League. 6 wins in 7 games, the only unbeaten team in 2026, and even when games get ugly, when they get tense, when they get uncomfortable, this team is still finding a way to win. That is not luck, that is not coincidence, that is consistency. And yet, even with all of that staring everyone in the face, there are still people uncomfortable with giving credit. There are still voices saying the job should go to someone else, there are still people who is comparing Carrick to Ole. Some say we need a more qualified manager. I've seen people mention Julian Nagelsmann. And let me start here, no coach is guaranteed success at Manchester United. None. So why do we romanticize Nagelsmann like he is some automatic solution? When you really look at it, what has he achieved that guarantees he walks into this club and transforms it into a dominant title-winning machine? His time at Bayern Munich lasted just 2 years before he was dismissed. Yes, he won the Bundesliga, but that is a league many consider substandard in competitiveness compared to the Premier League. Yes, he took Leipzig to a Champions League semi-final. Yes, Germany reached the Euro 2024 quarter-finals. But where is the overwhelming evidence that says he is the saviour? We've seen this story before, managers dominate in one environment, arrive in England, and struggle badly. We saw it with Erik ten Hag, we saw something similar too with Amorim, though his case didn't end well for many reasons. But the main point here is that success elsewhere has never been a guarantee here in the Premier League and at Manchester United. And even if a coach conquers Italy or Spain, that still doesn't mean he conquers Old Trafford. We've brought in experienced managers with strong CV and experience before, and they still got sacked. The Manchester United job is arguably the hardest job in football right now. Reputation does not win you games here. A good CV does not protect you here. And history has already proven that. Everything is a gamble, but it is better to gamble with someone who understands the Premier League very well and has shown that he can do big things with little. As for Carrick, yes, the sample size is still small. We don't yet know how he would handle the full weight of the permanent head coach title compared to the interim tag. That is a fair concern. But here's what I do know, he is adaptable. He reads games well. His in-game substitutions have been impeccable, and that is not something you fake. That is instinct, preparation, and clarity of thought under pressure. He has shown that he can do more with less. He doesn't have the biggest reputation, he isn't a glamorous, headline-grabbing name with years of Premier League managerial experience, but how exactly does someone gain that experience if they are never given the opportunity? Every elite manager at some point was inexperienced until someone trusted them. I don't care about the name on the back of the jersey or the fame attached to a CV, I care about the fit. And what Carrick is showing right now looks like a fit. These results are not accidental. He isn't just putting square pegs in square holes and hoping for the best. There is serious coaching happening behind the scenes.
You know him. What's he been doing to get this performance out of Manchester United?
I think a level of calmness, I think, which hasn't been there, I think, for quite a while now. And I think when you look at Michael Carrick, you think he's a quiet lad, and he studied the game, he understands the game, and he's gone into that job and knowing it's a difficult job to do. But what he's done, he's brought the basics back to Manchester United, and players working hard, players getting behind the ball, they're running for each other, they're working together for each other, and they're more confident.
Real work is being done on that training ground, even if not everyone sees it. And sometimes it's not just about formations. I always say this because people are obsessed over tactics and systems as if that's the only thing that wins football matches. Yes, tactics matter. Yes, structure is crucial. But Carrick did 3 major things when he came in, and the first one wasn't even tactical. The first thing he did was connect with the players on a deeper level. He understood something very important: formations don't implement themselves. Systems don't run on paper. Players are the ones who execute everything. And if those players are not mentally there, if they are not fighting, if they are not playing with grit and belief, then every tactical diagram becomes meaningless. Carrick recognized that before anything else. He communicated, he created a bond, he built understanding. He made the players feel seen and trusted. And when players feel that connection, they respond.
What difference has Michael Carrick made?
In short time, for me, I said already, I'm impressed about him, about his body language, his energy, his communication as well, the staff as well, very close to the players, the way he trusts the players, the way he talks, the way he connects with each other is unbelievable.
Has it been those particular aspects that have helped you to have these performances in the last couple of matches? Because notice as well, individual players, your level seems to have raised across these games. Is that the support of the new staff and the detail and some of the things you've just talked about that's made that difference?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you play for Manchester United, it's because you have something. You need people who understand your quality. You need people who take your best as well, And I think Michael is doing that. He's taking the best from everybody, not just the players, but also the staff, the standard, the structure that he demands. That is really important. And for me, when you touch my heart, I will give everything for you. And he touched it already, and you can see that on the pitch we give everything.
That connection is not something you see on a tactics board, but you can see it in the intensity, in the togetherness, and in the way they are now fighting for him on the pitch. Secondly, the next thing he did was step onto that training pitch and bring out the ball himself. Not just as a coach standing on the side giving instructions, but as someone involved, someone playing with them, someone showing them what he wants. And the idea behind that was very clear: he wants this team to play with confidence. Because let's be honest, our mentality before was really, really low. You could see it. Players were hesitant. Players were second-guessing themselves. But Carrick wanted them to be comfortable on the ball, not scared of it. He wanted them to demand it, to trust themselves in possession. Because confidence is everything in football. When confidence is high, players attempt passes they would normally avoid. They take responsibility, they move the ball quicker. And we've seen that change, even against the biggest teams. Against City, against Arsenal. Those were not games where we just sat back and countered. We played good football. We passed the ball around with belief. We created real chances. That doesn't happen without confidence. And confidence transforms teams. Most of the problems in football are not just tactical, they are mental. Carrick understood that, and he made sure mentality was no longer our weakness. Lastly, he bridged the gap between defense and attack. Before he came in, we were conceding too many goals. There was always space between the lines. We looked disconnected. But now look at the numbers. In 7 games, we have 3 clean sheets. Only 6 goals conceded. That is massive progress. It's not like we weren't scoring before, we were. The issue was that we were conceding just as much, sometimes even more. We couldn't control games properly, and we didn't finish games well. The in-game management was not strong enough. But with Carrick, that has changed. We are managing moments better. We are closing games out better, and that is huge, because football is not just about how you start, it is about how you finish. It is a 90-minute game. If you cannot manage the last phases of matches, you will drop points. And suddenly, under Carrick, we are finishing games better, with more control, more calmness, more authority. Many people just look at the team and assume nothing significant has changed. But they don't see what has been happening behind closed doors. They don't see the details. And sometimes, the biggest changes are the ones that aren't immediately visible. Now let me really open up and be honest here. Do you even realize that we don't have the best wingers and fullbacks to make this system fully explode? This setup relies heavily on elite, natural wingers. Players who can isolate defenders, stretch teams properly, dominate 1v1 situations and create chaos from wide areas. That's what this kind of structure thrives on. And yet, Carrick is still squeezing maximum output from what he has. He's not working with a perfectly built squad tailored to his philosophy. He's adapting. He's adjusting. He's maximizing resources. And that matters. On top of that, the Premier League right now is even more difficult than it was earlier in the season. You can argue with me, but this is the business end of the campaign. The league is coming to an end. Every single team has something to fight for. Some are chasing European football, some are fighting relegation. Others want to secure pride and momentum. Teams are playing like their lives depend on it. There are no easy games anymore. Every match is intense, tactical, physical. And despite all of that, we are still winning games. With a squad that, let's be honest, cannot even comfortably rotate in midfield. Whether we're tired or not, we don't have serious, tangible replacements who can come in and maintain the same tempo and standards. That is a limitation, that is reality, but the results are still coming. So no, we are not a finished product, not even close. What we need now is serious recruitment and proper support. Because for me, it feels like less of a gamble to stick with someone who understands the basics, understands the standards of the club, understands how the Premier League works, and can translate that onto the pitch, even when things get hard. Now moving forward, let's focus. The next 5 games are right in front of us and there is not a single easy fixture there. Not one. Every single one will demand intensity, concentration, and personality. But here's the mistake we must not make: we cannot afford to look at all 5 at once. That is how pressure builds. That is how focus gets lost. The only thing that matters right now is the next game. And that next game is Newcastle. We are going to St. James's Park for one reason and one reason only: to get all 3 points. Nothing else. One game at a time. Step by step. That is the mentality. So before anything else, let's build my preferred starting 11 together, and I'll explain exactly why I believe this is the best team to go away from home and get the job done at St. James's Park. Stay with me, because this is important. In goal, it has to be Lamans. Simple. He starts. At left back, it remains Shaw. Carrick already said he and Maguire were just unwell, nothing serious. So if Shaw is fit, he is still our best option there. Yes, he needs to raise his level, no doubt about that. But when fully fit, he gives you balance and experience on that side. If he is not available, then Mazraoui steps in. At centre-back, I'm going with Maguire and Euro. Martinez will be available, yes, but he missed the last game. For me, it's better he starts from the bench and eases back in. Maguire and Euro give you physical presence and height, especially in a tough away game against Newcastle. At right back, I'm going with Dalot. He keeps his place. Now into midfield. I'm pairing Mainu and Casemiro. That gives you energy and composure. Ahead of them, Bruno Fernandes. He plays in that advanced role, pulling strings, creating, influencing everything in the final third. Then the attacking line. On the left, Cunha. On the right, Ahmad. And leading the line, Mbumo. That front 3 gives you movement, pace and options across the line. Away from home, you need attackers who can run channels, press properly and take their chances when they come. For me, this 11 gives us the best balance to go to St James's Park and come back with all 3 points. Now this game at St James's Park will be intense from the very first whistle. Newcastle are aggressive at home, and they have very tall, physical defenders. That's important. Because if you put Sesko in from the start in a game like this, there is a real risk that he gets locked into a physical battle and man-marked out of the game. And if that happens, you are basically playing with one attacker neutralized. That is dangerous. You cannot afford to have one of your main threats completely taken out of the match, especially away from home. Newcastle will come flying out from minute 1. The crowd will be loud. The tempo will be high. They will press, they will push, they will try to pin us back early. So we have to be ready for that storm. And when a team comes at you like that, your biggest opportunities often come in transition. That's exactly why I chose Ahmad and Bruno, with Cunha and Bruno behind them. Those are players who can carry the ball forward quickly, pick the right pass, and release runners at the right time. When Newcastle overcommit, the spaces will be there, but only if we are sharp and decisive.